He did it. He did it. Sean Strickland has defeated Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 328 this past weekend. And I cannot believe that I'm living in this timeline. I cannot believe that the last American champion has beaten the scariest Russian in the UFC right now. Khamzat Chimaev was looking like the most dominant force in the UFC. And Sean Strickland did it. Sean Strickland has two of the greatest championship upsets in UFC history. He beat the greatest striker in UFC history on the feet in Israel Adesanya. He beat one of the greatest looking wrestlers in the UFC right now today on the ground in the UFC. That second round, I'll insert a clip of my reaction in that second round, but I was just in shock. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Sean Strickland was on top of Khamzat Chimaev on the ground. Khamzat Chimaev looked like he was breaking in the second round. I feel like this fight went exactly how I thought the DDP fight was going to go. I was on a podcast before the DDP fight saying there's no way Khamzat will win a decision. If Khamzat Chimaev wins a decision against Dricus du Plessis, I will never do this podcast again. But Khamzat Chimaev paced himself really well in that fight, and DDP's defense wasn't enough to make Khamzat work, really. And Khamzat did not tire in the DDP fight, but here in the Strickland fight, he did. Could be the weight cut, could be, I think it is, some of it was the weight cut. I think a lot of it is Sean's great defense and his he made Khamzat work in that first round. That first round was dominant by Khamzat, but in the second round, Khamzat completely gassed. I think he put forth more effort in the first than he wanted to, and in the second round, he began to break. And Sean Strickland got on top of Khamzat Chimaev, and I was in shock. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And so Sean Strickland walks away with the win. Sean Strickland has beaten Khamzat Chimaev. For me, how happy I am about this win, it's like if Conor would have beaten Khabib. It's like if Dustin would have beaten Islam. It's like if JDM would have beaten Islam. If Sean would have beaten Merab. But I honestly think I am more happy about this than any of those situations. Maybe McGregor beating Khabib. But in this fight, Sean was a massive underdog, and basically nobody thought that he was going to win. That's not true. It's not nobody thought he was going to win, but it was probably 95 to 5% thought Sean was going to beat Khamzat Chimaev. A lot of people knew that Sean could offer up a great fight. I knew that Sean could win, but I definitely did not think he was going to win this fight. There's a lot of people saying robbery. I disagree. I think Sean took the second, third, and fifth. He dominated the second round. I believe he outstruck Khamzat in the third and in the fifth. A big criticism I had watching the fight was that Sean was not throwing combinations. He was barely throwing the right hand. He was just jabbing. He definitely threw the right hand, but it was very few and far between. But he was just jabbing. He was teeping a few times. But it was honestly mostly jabs from Strickland. He controlled the second, third, and fifth, and he outstruck Khamzat in those rounds. But I think Strickland could have poured it on in the third round and got a finish. If Strickland would have came out guns blazing in the third, I believe that he could have gotten a finish, but I think he let Khamzat back into the fight in that third round after Khamzat was demoralized in the second. And not a lot of people are noticing this, but Sean Strickland also rocked Khamzat on the feet in the second round. He landed a nice right hand in the second round that had Khamzat Chimaev on wobbly legs, but Khamzat Chimaev played it off extremely well. I don't think there's a lot of people talking about this, and the commentators didn't notice, which I'm not surprised. But Khamzat Chimaev definitely got rocked on the feet in the second round. He got his takedowns defended. Sean Strickland got on top in the second round, and I was having the time of my life. It was amazing. And I'd like to talk about some of the narratives coming out of this fight. For starters, we got DDP getting 2 wins over Sean Strickland and then getting dominated by Khamzat Chimaev. And then Khamzat Chimaev went on to get dominated. Well, not dominated, but he lost to Sean Strickland. A pretty strange rock, paper, scissor type scenario. DDP beats Strickland. Strickland beats Khamzat. Khamzat beats DDP. And so maybe they'll do DDP versus Sean 3 now that Sean has the belt. I bet DDP is glad that he didn't book a fight until this fight took place. There was a lot of talks of him fighting Brendan Allen. There was a lot of talks of him fighting Kyle Baralho. But I'm sure he's glad that he waited until this fight played out, because I think he can very easily get a title shot at this point. He can say, oh, I beat you twice. That should be my belt. I beat this guy twice. And so we'll see. I can see them giving it to DDP. You also got Nasruddin Imavov there. Imavov lost to Strickland on, I think, a week's notice. And so maybe instead of fighting Imavov, Sean can fight DDP. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I know Sean wants some time off, which he deserves it. You know, he pulled off this amazing upset again. And so give him some time off. But I think it should either be DDP or Imavov based on whatever Sean wants. And then we got the Ariel Helwani, of course, butting his head in, giving his opinion on Sean and Khamzat making up after the fight and shaking hands during the fight after all the stuff that they said to one another. He believes that that is fraud. If you're going to say all this before the fight and then you're going to fight and then not feel the same exact way after, he believes like that's cowardly and dishonorable. And I don't think Ariel, and I'm definitely not the first person to say this. I'm probably parroting what a lot of other people are saying, but this is what I truly believe. When you fight another man for 25 minutes and when you go to war with another man inside that octagon, and just honestly just fighting in general, like if you get in an argument with somebody and you guys are arguing and then you fight, like after the fight you guys respect one another. And I don't expect Ariel Helwani to understand that. And it's so interesting how Ariel talks about peace and love and all this stuff, and yet when two fighters who had bad blood before the fight, after the fight, they're being peaceful, they're showing one another love, and Ariel butts his head in and says, you can't forgive him after that. You can't shake. Why are you shaking his hand? Yet he wants to talk about peace and love and respecting one another. Yet he's instigating and being honestly very rat-like, upset that Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev forgave one another after going to war and earned each other's respect inside the octagon. But I mean, Ariel Helwani's never been inside the octagon, so I don't think he would understand. But yeah, Sean Strickland is now the UFC middleweight champion. He beat Khamzat Chimaev. He beat the scariest Russian in the UFC, and I'm extremely happy. It was a good fight. I enjoyed watching it. And let me know what you think down below. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.